What's going on, people? It is Irish Gunner HD here, you can call me Irish, and for today's episode of Will It Drift, I thought I would change it up and do the first ever live commentary version of Will It Drift, as far as I remember anyway. But anyway, as you can see, today's car is the 1969 Nissan Fairlady Z, and it was suggested by Odrowski, or Odrowski, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, dude, but yeah, cheers for the suggestion. So let's go in and find out what the crack is with the horsepower and the torque and stuff. So, as standard, it comes with 160 horsepower, 133 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs 2,308 pounds. That's interesting to say the least. So we shall have a look now, and go straight into the Sunset Club training facility, the Will It Drift testing ground, shall we say. But yeah, I don't know. I thought for some reason I've been doing a lot of live commentaries with GTA 5 lately, and I'm pretty much owing you guys a Forza video for about a week or so now. So I thought I would do this live as well while I'm in the kind of live commentary mood, as it were, from GTA 5. But yes, apologies about the lack of Forza videos over the last while. Basically, just been kind of busy with real life, and then GTA 5 came out. So yeah, usually, as you know, if you've seen my how like the behind the scenes of Will It Drift, you know that I give 5 minutes for each car. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do 2 laps, like 2 runs back and forward each way, and then that'll be it. And I'll give my opinions over the 2 runs each way. So immediately off the line, excuse me, as standard, it's pretty slow, as you'd imagine, only 130 horsepower. And then as I flick it in, get close to the wall, cut inside a little bit, there's not really, there's a lot of body roll actually, which I don't know, I say that with surprise, but I don't know, I expect it to be a little kind of more responsive or whatever, but it's not the worst. It doesn't really hold its drift per se, but it's not the worst by far. It's definitely lacking on power or whatever, but no, I've definitely had worse. I can't remember off the top of my head now, it's been a while, but I know that I've definitely had worse. So here's the start of the second run. But yeah, the usual kind of things seem to apply here. Not a whole lot of power, it's not really connecting corners. It is very, very floopy, as I always say. I can never think of the right word for it. It's just, there's a whole lot of body roll. It just doesn't want to go from corner to corner, and it's not I must say, it's not an unenjoyable experience. Like, it's not, like, some cars are just not fun at all, they just are a pain. This is kind of, it's like a Sunday drive, it's like a Sunday afternoon drift kind of thing. You're just like, you expect it to be slow, so it's just kind of like you deal with it or whatever, but yeah, I don't really mind it. I'm just going to see if I notice anything else now in this second run. So this will be the last of the run this way, and then the last one will be the last stock run, and then I'll back out. But yeah, I know this is going to be like a once off as far as I'm concerned, like the live format for Will It Drift. I just thought, while I was in the humour, chuck it in, see if I can not cut the corner. But I do. Yeah, this isn't going to be the format for the whole thing. Oh god, yeah, no, it's pretty bad. I just thought I'd do it live. But yeah, no, the car's not. Again, I don't know how to put it. It's not terrible, but it's not at all good. Like, I wouldn't hate on it because I didn't expect it to be great in the stock build, but it's not. It's not. There's definitely been better cars, and there definitely is other cars out there that are better in the stock build. Final run here as we go along. Oh god, so slow off the line. But again, it's probably in the mid range for slowness off the line. There's probably, like, I'm sure that I've had stuff that was slower, like a lot of the front wheel drive cars and stuff like that. Ford Fiesta and stuff like that would have probably have been slower. But yeah. I look forward to seeing the full build though, because I can tell it's always one thing that I always think about when I'm doing these cars. However atrocious the stock build may be, the full build will always redeem itself. Like, hopefully, like most of the time it does. Sometimes it doesn't, and then then it's the car's fault. The car is bad, but most of the time it does. So yeah, they were my thoughts on the stock build. So we're gonna go in and do it up a little bit with the kind of the usual upgrades that I would do. I'm torn between putting in the engine swap. You can put in, oh god, no, I thought you could put in the SR20. Never mind. I'm not putting in the R34 engine. No way, no how. yeah, what do I usually do? So race springs, just to get rid of that body roll. Race weight reduction. Almost got tongue-tied again. So it's down to £2,000 now, and just stretch out the cams a little bit. I'd say race just to be nice, just to be safe. And then all drivetrain for race, I believe I usually do as well, just to get those faster gear changes in the medium build, because that's pretty much all you want. You just need a little bit extra power, stiffen it up a little bit. I usually do it up and then I paint it at the end. My bad. I think I'm just going to go with a safe option here of work equips. They should look good. Hopefully. Yeah, they look fine. I don't do the size because that technically falls into tuning. What have we got? No. That actually kind of looks cool, yeah, without that. Okay, so that's the medium build for you there. Crap, I went out again without checking what the stats on it were. My bad, people. Again, doing it live, these things happen when you do things live. So, lordy, it only went up to 195 horsepower, and 146 foot-pounds of torque. But the weight has gone down quite a bit to 1,964 pounds, so you can't really complain. It should be a lot more kind of nimble. If nothing else, it should be, from what I can tell, just from like past experience, with that weight loss, even though the power increase wasn't a whole lot at all, hopefully it should feel better. But as I said, going from 180 to 195 horsepower, I wouldn't bet on it if I was you. God, this is slow. Oh, that's atrocious off the line. Right, so I usually bring it to a stop around here, and we shall go. We shall go. God damn it, I say we shall go. Come on, holy Christ. Yeah, this is still pretty awful. Yeah, it's more responsive. I didn't cut the corner that time. I went a bit wide though. Yeah, I like the responsiveness. It's a lot easier to control. It's it's definitely a lot stiffer. Cutting that corner a little bit. But if you notice, I'm actually, even though I wasn't counter steering, I was like basically keeping the wheel straight, but throughout that whole last little transition sweeper kind of thing, I was actually kind of sideways, which is interesting. So I don't know, take that as you will, but I was technically drifting, so it's not good at all, but it actually, it can kind of drift. Oh, come on! That is an atrocious acceleration speed. As we throw it in a little backwards, get a little flare onto it. Oh, we're actually connecting the corners. See, this is why I love doing this series. It's like you get these little surprises where I was expecting to throw that backwards into the corner and come to a complete stop, and I actually didn't. I managed to somehow connect it. No, stretching out to the wall. No, you could just hear it dying a slow death as it came through the corner there. She's like, no, don't do this to me. I'm not able. All you did was give me camshafts. I need more power. Right, final run. In this direction, I believe. Yes. So again, awful slow off the line. Definitely reaction. See how close I can get to the wall. Nah, not very. But I don't know if you can see the difference between the first run and these runs. The first one, remember, I cut across every single time. Those two runs there, I didn't. I actually managed to push it out and make the corner. And so yeah, here, linking those two as well. So I actually think there's good hope for the full build. I know most people that are going to watch a drifting video about a Nissan Fairlady Z of any sort are going to be like, oh dude, of course it's going to drift up, you need it. I know it more than likely will, but you never know. I've tried cars before that I was almost certain would drift no matter what. Like the Honda Accord, for example, I think that was the first episode I ever did. The Honda Accord, I was almost certain it would drift. I know it's not like a famous drift car. I believe it's front-wheel drive as standard. But for some reason, I thought just something about it just made me think that it would drift, and it just wouldn't. So there's always those little surprises. But this car is definitely, it doesn't feel any faster, but it does feel a lot more agile, a lot more controllable. But for now, it's definitely an absolute no. I would just get left behind and laughed at if I brought this into a public lobby. So medium build and stock build, in my head, as I'm thinking when I'm coming up with the episodes, when I don't do them live, I'm like, nope, nope, and then the full build is hopefully a yep, but you never know. So, let us see what we have got for the full build. Oh, that's tuned, my bad. So, I always start from the right to left, so we're going to go with street tires, max out the rear, bump the size up to 15. 14's a little small, 16's a little big, 15's perfect in my opinion. Race brakes, race roll bar, race everything pretty much in here. And then for the power upgrades, okay, so race air filter, race intakes and blah 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 blah. Race. This is the boring part of doing Will It Drift, just knowing the formula, so just putting everything to race, and then that's pretty much it. There's a little insight into how I build cars. You may have already seen it from the S14 build, but there you go. And then the tune is always kind of like, again, it's like a rough. There's a method to the madness, but it's rough. It's very rough. Like it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. So that's just the way it goes, unfortunately. So that's just the way I've learned to do it, basically. So I'm gonna cut down 4th, bring down 5th and 6th a little bit. Yes, I'm using my wheel. If you can hear the wheel in the background, it's quite awkward. So I'm using a combination of the buttons on the wheel and actually turning the wheel itself. So 23ish, 19ish. I'm hoping this is going to work. I'd like to have it as a kind of, what would you call it, like a sleeper. Like a sleeper drift car. Like, again, like I said, most people know that a Fairlady of any kind will drift, but to have a really good 69 Fairlady would be sweet, I think. So I'm hoping that it gives me a good showing, gives itself a good shout to be in contention for to keep it on, basically, to keep it in my garage. But so as full, I forgot to check the full build numbers. 331. That's pretty awful, but I'll take it. 247 foot-pounds of torque. That's quite a bit. And then it's actually gone up as usual to 1,959 pounds of weight. So let's go in, take it in, and see how it gets on. And if my wheel double clicks and puts me into into Sunset Club, I'm going to be sad. No, it doesn't. Sometimes the A button on my steering wheel double clicks for some reason. When I click it once, it will double click. And say, for example, like I'm doing here, I want to get Sunset Club. It will double click and it will give me Sunset Full, which is beyond irritating. But that's a more sprightly start. Christ, a bit of power, Jesus. That's nice to see. Right, take it away, Fairlady. Yes, much better off the line. Now let's just. Ooh, I like that. I gave it a bit too much on the entry there. That was my fault. But other than that, it held it well. It had, like, when you make a mistake and the car lets you away with it, you know it's a good car, pretty much. Like, I threw that in way too hard. I got too close to the wall, but I actually managed to hold on to it because the car was able to do that. So that's a good sign. Off the bat, I'm noticing a weird feeling when I'm counter steering. It's like it's constantly wanting to pull back forward for some reason. So I'll have to investigate that in the next 3 runs. But that's just the initial feeling I got when I was doing that there. Dab with the brakes. Oh, accelerate. That was my bad. That was a poor drift on my part. I think it was either poor drift on my part or the car hadn't got enough power to do what I wanted it to do. One or the other. No, that was definitely my bad. Yeah, so apart from my awful drifting, the car's feeling solid enough. I don't think I got the gears right in that quick little, in that little really fast, quick tune or whatever, but they can be worked on. Obviously, with more work, it should be okay. But for the actual feeling of the car, oh, got close there. Swing it back out. Damn it, I entered too early. Once again, my fault, not the car's. But this is why I usually take 5 minutes to practice, so I know I'm not just flying by the seat in my pants, as it were. I actually know a bit about the car before I go to record the runs, but it definitely feels alright. Yeah, no, it feels okay. Definitely, with this being the last run now, I have to say I'm not hating it and I'm not loving it. But again, like I usually have at least 15 to 20 minutes of practice time before I make a decision on a car. So this kind of is a first impressions, shall we say. But if I can get it out, change the forks, hang on to the last minute, then flick it. Yeah, no, it's actually pretty good. It's not... I would be curious. I'm not going to do it. Oh, crap. That was a failure. Good Christ almighty. What am I doing? Yeah, I would definitely be curious to see what it would be like with the power of the Skyline engine. I know in previous episodes of Will It Drift, that's the end of the run pretty much. I'll give my opinions and stuff now. So I know in previous episodes of Will It Drift, I've used other engines in cars, but that was only as like a last stand where the car was only making like 150 horsepower in the full build. So I've moved away from doing engine swaps on cars. I try to get them on their own merit, and not how they perform with a different engine basically. And this one, as you heard me say throughout the whole thing, it's alright, it's not exceptional. I would like to see it with more power. I would like to put more power into it, but that's not the way I build cars. I don't just max them out. I would say look at it, have a look. Definitely try it with a low to medium powered Skyline engine. Don't go in the Skyline engine and max it out, because then you'll just be pretty much spinning tires and the thing. And you won't be going anywhere. But overall, will it drift? Yes, I think so. With a little more work, you're not going to be keeping up with Skylines, and you're not going to keep it up with Supras and Silvias and stuff like that. But Silvias, if they're lower powered, if they're kind of A class or whatever, I think this is only A class, maybe even B class. A class 537. So I'd say you keep up with other A class kind of cars. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It wasn't exceptional. It was enjoyable. And I would like to work on it some more and get it cracking a bit better. But the first impressions on it is that it will drift, not with the best of cars, but it will drift. It looks cool as hell. I mean, look at that shot right there. It looks pretty cool. So that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.